Alan, I know you were disappointed on Saturday. I'm sure you've watched the game back. What did you make of it on second viewing?
Much the same as I thought at the time. Started the game well, finished the game well, and Arsenal were the better side in the period in the middle. Certainly the bit leading up to half time. I felt that we started the second half well. You know, obviously the big moment for us was when Saido was wrongly flagged offside. Then of course Arsenal got the goal, and that made it difficult for us. But we came back. We made some changes. Those changes gave us some threat going forward. We hadn't had enough of that prior to that. But it was a game where, when I look back at the game, when I look at the stats that came out of the game, we've made over 400 passes against Arsenal. Possession was 50-50. We've actually got into their final third more times than they get into ours. But what we haven't had is we haven't had the quality in that final third, and we haven't had enough players in the box, enough players around the box. And that's disappointing, because that was something that we'd worked on specifically on the Thursday. And it was a big part of our game plan to get people forward and to get people into the box, and we didn't do that well enough, and that's something that we need to improve on.
Obviously you've trained today. Is that the message you've passed on to them?
Yeah, we've done some more work on that today. We certainly need to be a bigger threat from an attacking point of view. You know, possessions only for the sake of getting into good positions in order to penetrate and in order to create chances and score goals. And so we've got to turn those possession stats into stats that reflect the amount of control that we have in games at times, and actually translates into chances and goals.
All the pundits will tell you that December is the biggest month of the season. What do you hope you can gain during this month?
As many points as possible. You know, you set off looking at every single game and looking at that as being a game that you are going to try and win, and we're going to do that with every single game that we go into. There are no games where we're saying it's just about damage limitation or anything like that. It's not how we approach things. It's not how we set up. So looking to win as many games as we possibly can during this period.
3 of the next 4 against teams below us in the league table. I know that's not necessarily representative of their quality, but does it give you more of a chance to pick up points?
Well, it will certainly be perceived that way, but as everybody knows, every game in the Premier League is tough, and every game brings its own challenges. And yeah, we're hoping that we will pick up good numbers of points in the games that are coming up, but we also realise that the opposition will have to be treated with the same respect as we've treated our last 3 opponents, who have been two of the form teams in Newcastle and Chelsea, and Arsenal, who have qualified yet again for the last 16 of the Champions League.
West Ham have been a surprise package, I guess, this season, 5th so far. What do your players need to do to beat them?
Play very well. Play very well with the ball. Be a threat going forward. And of course, deal with the threats that they carry. You know, West Ham are a team who are very good in the final third. Their crossing is very good. They've got players who are good headers of the ball. They're good from set plays. So you're going to have to deal with those things. They've had a great start to the season. They're in a great position, and they deserve a lot of credit for that. But you know, they're a team that we have to respect, as I've already said, and you know, I admire what they've done so far. But it's also a team that we've got to be prepared to attack, and we've got to look to cause them problems.
This time last year, they were only 3 points above the relegation zone. Testimony, I guess, to what Sam Allardyce has done there? Well,
testimony to what Sam's done, without a doubt. Testimony to the club, the board, who stuck by him at a time when a lot of people were clamouring for him to go. And what Sam's done is what he does. He's got a team together that wins games, and they're actually they're doing that with a great deal of style at times.
Pocinoli limped off on Saturday. How's he?
He's a doubt. We haven't ruled him out completely yet. The team hasn't been named yet, but he is a doubt.
James Morrison has been suffering with illness. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, he's had a few things. He had the flu when he was away with Scotland. He then had toothache. He then had a bit of a knee problem, and then to top it all off, for a great couple of weeks for him, he had sickness and diarrhoea. So James is one who we're monitoring. He trained again today, so he's had a couple of days training in quick succession. And we'll make a decision on him tomorrow, but we need to be guided by James really, and I'm already talking to him about that and looking to see what's best to make sure that we get him back. We made a decision at the weekend that trying to kind of force him through all these problems that he's had hasn't helped him, so we have to make the right decision now, and that right decision might be for him to be involved, for him to play from the start, for him to sit on the bench, or it might be that, you know, just take a little bit more time and let's see how you feel perhaps for the weekend.